We're following breaking news out of Georgia tonight. Live look at the crowd from Senator Raphael Warnock's campaign headquarters. The Associated Press projecting the senator will win re-election against Republican and former football star Herschel Walker. Now, these are the results that are in so far. The incumbent Warnock leading Walker by nearly 50,000 votes there. The race for the final U.S. Senate seat is if that happens and ends this way, Democrats will now hold a 51-49 advantage in the Senate. We first alerted you to this on our app, and with that app, we'll send you breaking news alerts just like this right to your phone. You can download it by scanning that QR code if you'd like there on your screen, and you can always find it for free in the Google Play and Apple App Stores. Tonight, the Montgomery County Sheriff's Office is investigating a report of an attempted kidnapping. Now, this happened yesterday afternoon, and today we got a hold of the 911 call from very concerned parents detailing what happened. Bryn Caswell live in Washington Township. Bryn, what can you tell us about the investigation?
Adam, investigators say the 13-year-old was out walking her dog when she was approached by a white man with a beard who was driving a gray silver car. She then knew that behavior was suspicious and took off running to a neighbor's home.
She was walking the dog and somebody came up in a car and with the window rolled down and was holding cash out the car window and tried to get her to come and get in the car. Kind of driving around the neighborhood. She called me to pick her up. She was walking the dog and she had her mom's phone, thankfully, and she ran into a neighbor's house and called me from that house.
So, Bryn, what are police telling parents and neighbors tonight?
The Montgomery County Sheriff's Office is asking anyone who may have any information about this incident to call 937-225-HELP. Visit the web version of this story at Dayton247now.com. I talked to law enforcement experts about the best protocol that your children should follow when out walking a dog. Back to you.
All right, Bryn, thank you. A head-on collision between two cars left one person dead. This happened near Urbana this morning. Deputies say one driver went left of center, collided with another vehicle. That driver was killed. A woman driving the other vehicle taken to a hospital. We're still working to learn her condition. Whole thing remains under investigation tonight. We also have an update to a crash we first told you about last night. We now know the name of the man who'd passed away after crashing in Brookville. State troopers say 85-year-old Walter Kellison died after his truck went off the road, hit a utility pole. Kellison was taken to Miami Valley Hospital where he later died. The Preble County Sheriff's Office turning to the public for help tonight, finding a missing woman. Lydia Bice at the Now Desk with the latest on this investigation. Lydia?
32-year-old Tiffany Arona, pictured here, was last seen in October 2021 at a rehabilitation facility in Dayton. She is 5 foot 4 inches tall, weighs between 150 and 190 pounds, has blue eyes and blonde hair, which could be colored dark, but based on the current investigation, investigators believe she may have died. They also believe that a person or multiple people may have information regarding her disappearance.
So, Lydia, we're being told there's a reward for information about her disappearance?
That's right. The Preble County Sheriff's Office and Preble County Prosecutor's Office are offering a $5,000 reward for any information leading to the discovery and or recovery of Arona. Her last known address was in West Manchester, Ohio, but she was last seen in the area of Parnell Avenue in Dayton. If you have any information, call the Preble County Sheriff's Office tip line at the bottom of your screen.
All right, Lydia, thanks. The next police chief in Springfield will be a woman. The city announcing today it has narrowed its search to 2 candidates from the original 32 applicants when the job was posted. The 2 finalists are Captain Allison Elliott of Springfield and Deputy Chief Jennifer Knight of Columbus. Now, Elliott and Knight will be interviewed for a final time before that decision's made. Current Chief Lee Graff will be retiring at the end of this year. Huber Heights police arresting this man after finding meth, they say, and a loaded handgun in his home. Police say they arrested Dustin Jennings along Taylorsville Road on a felony warrant. This is after they got a tip. Now, authorities add that additional charges they are still pending. We have some new updates tonight regarding a heartbreaking story that we have been investigating for months. Back in June, you may remember Asia Nelson and her 6-year-old daughter were murdered. And tonight, her family is suing the Dayton Police Department and the city, saying officers didn't do enough to keep them safe. Mamie Bogg gives us the latest tonight.
The family of Asia Nelson continues to grieve more than 5 months after the incident on Burley Avenue. Back in June, she called 911 several times. However, when officers arrived, they didn't arrest Waverly Halls, also known as Dante, or remove him from the home. Hours later, Asia and her 6-year-old daughter were killed. This body camera video shows Asia telling police her boyfriend threatened her. The family, with their attorney, say they want accountability.
If the cops would have did their job, not only would Asian Harper be alive, but Dante would have been alive too. They felt us. They felt his family as well. But we're suffering the worst here.
We cannot do Christmas. We can't celebrate any holidays right now.
In July, DPD said they were investigating why the officers left the scene, but they never filed a report. I reached out for an update on that, but the police department said it doesn't comment on pending litigation. The city of Dayton also said the same. Back to you.
All right, maybe thanks. Well, let's talk weather now. It was another almost fall, springish type day. It doesn't feel like December at all, Natalie. Is this going to be the trend here in the next few days anyway?
Yeah, actually a pretty persistent forecast over these next several days. If you like the clouds, got a whole lot of them over these next several days. Here's a look at what's going on right now, because we also have some rainfall. And in fact, we've seen some heavier pockets of rain over our southern counties that we've been monitoring. South of Dayton, in fact, a little light rainfall pushing its way into the Dayton area right now. Just southeast of Xenia over Caesars Creek, also getting a heavier pocket of rain there. There was some lightning with this earlier too. Got a warm front lifting its way through. Temperature wise, we're in the 50s, 50 in Dayton, 49 currently in Troy, 45 in Greenville. And we're going to hover in the 40s overnight, early tomorrow morning. So kids out at the bus stop needing a jacket and also an umbrella will be coming in handy. Clouds pretty much all day long. Fog to start us off in the morning too. We eventually top out in the lower 50s. Have the rest of the week's forecast coming up here in just a little bit.
Natalie, thanks. Live look over the Capitol building tonight in D.C., where Republican leaders say time is running out to reach a deal to avoid a government shutdown. The government runs out of money in 10 days. Democrats have said they want to maximize their influence while they still hold the majority in the House. The goal is to pass a long-term extension with aid for Ukraine and COVID response, but the GOP is pushing back on those proposals, potentially pushing back a final decision.
We're running out of time and we don't have agreements to do virtually anything, which would only leave us with the option of a short-term CR into early next year.
So if our legislative leaders on the other side of the aisle were serious, they'd help us get to a top-line number and we can ensure some regular order and get this done.
Congressman Aguilar questioned the timing of McConnell's statements about pushing the issue into the new year as House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy hints at delaying. McConnell said he's focused on the practicality of passing a suitable agreement, not on McCarthy's bid to become House Speaker. Outgoing House Speaker Nancy Pelosi has said a year-long continuing resolution may be needed. And back here in Ohio at the State House, Democrats are urging Ohio voters to take action against proposed House Bill 294. Party leaders say it's a form of voter suppression. They say, among other things, that bill would prevent an absentee ballot from being counted if the wrong postage was used to mail it. The bill would also change the number of days available for early voting in Ohio.
The anti-voter bill sets up needless and deliberate barriers for Ohioans by restricting where, when, and how we vote. My Republican colleagues want to pass this bill because they think that if they can make it harder for Ohioans to vote, then they'll be able to keep their stranglehold on power.
Now, the House Oversight Committee will host hearings this week at the State House for that bill. Republican Congressman Mike Turner is urging Congress to make a health coverage tax credit permanent. This would extend health care credits for up to 5,000 salaried Delphi retirees. Back in 2009, the General Motors bankruptcy impacted thousands, including leaving many in Ohio without a pension. In July, the House passed a bill that would restore those pensions. However, it was blocked in the Senate. Governor DeWine is ordering all U.S. flags to be flown at half-staff tomorrow for Pearl Harbor Remembrance Day. On December 7, 1941, more than 2,000 people lost their lives in those attacks. In accordance with the orders from the president, in honor of the lives lost, all public buildings and grounds will lower their flags. Officials from Wright State University and Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, they have finalized the first step in a new agreement today. This will allow Air Force researchers access to work in a university building directly on the school's campus. Wright State will provide office and laboratory space to Air Force personnel in the Neuroscience Engineering Collaboration Building. Now, that collaboration is in hopes to advance neuroscience research in the Miami Valley. Leaders from across the state applauding the new partnership, including the governor. He released a statement saying, quote, "The partnership between Wright State University and the Air Force Research Laboratory is a great example of how our public institutions can be instrumental in helping our military advance important research." This partnership strengthens both institutions and makes Dayton an even more attractive region for leading-edge research. Restaurants across Cincinnati, they are losing out on business tonight after their social media accounts were hacked. Tonight, we know of at least 5 restaurants that were hacked in recent weeks. Luke Jones explains what the hackers are after and how business owners can protect their brands.
At least 5 Cincinnati restaurants hacked. In October, Crown Restaurant Group's 4 restaurants had their Facebook and Instagram accounts hijacked, and then just this weekend, the same thing happened to the owner of Arnold's Bar and Grill just down the street.
It completely disabled my personal Instagram, my professional Instagram, and my own Facebook. So big piece of advice would be to disconnect those, and the other piece of advice is to change your password today.
And the owner of Arnold's Bar and Grill actually had his personal Facebook account suspended because of all the stuff the hijackers put on there. Right now, he is locked out of his Facebook business account and says the hackers even racked up $2,800 in fraudulent Facebook ad charges. Back to you.
Luke, thanks. A verdict has been reached in the trial against former President Donald Trump's organization. The possible punishments next. Also, there's a push to make a life-saving drug easier to get. Why advocates say now is the time to make the Loxone available over the counter.
Plus lots of clouds as well as more rain in the forecast that's coming up. Here's a live look from our Kettering Hill Skycam. You're watching Dayton 24/7 now.
We are following breaking news out of Georgia tonight. We want to take you back there. Senator Raphael Warnock speaking after being projected to win his race against Herschel Walker. Let's listen in.
That God has done. And after a hard-fought campaign, or should I say campaigns, it is my honor to utter the four most powerful words ever spoken in a democracy. The people have spoken.
You have been listening live to Senator-elect Raphael Warnock, who is projected to win the Georgia runoff election. This was the final Senate seat remaining in the open and in play for the U.S. Senate. Now that gives Democrats a 51-49 advantage as we get into the new Congress. The CDC reports more than 70,000 Americans died from the synthetic opioid fentanyl last year. That's an increase of nearly 15% from 2020. Now it's pushing for drug makers to create an over-the-counter version of that life-saving medicine, naloxone. Christian Hauser shows us why this is so crucial.
Ohio ranks as one of the most hard-hit states when it comes to opioid deaths, so this truly hits home. The medicine naloxone has been available in all states without a prescription for anyone who wants it, but you would still have to get it from a pharmacist. And because of that, there's still worry about the stigma keeping some folks from the life-saving medicine. The drug naloxone, most commonly called Narcan, works by blocking the opiate receptors in the nervous system. If given soon enough, it can reverse someone dying from an opioid overdose. This comes at a time when lab-created fentanyl from China is killing more Americans than ever. And it's being cut with other drugs more and more.
If they're putting it in all kinds of stuff, you know, your loved one might not be an addict and get a hold of something bad, and you might be saving their life by having the naloxone. It's something that, you know, even if I no longer work for FOA one day, I will make sure I always carry, just because you just don't know when you're going to run across it.
The two models the FDA announced as likely being a good fit for the over-the-counter model are the nasal spray and an auto-injector delivery system. Auto-injectors have been used safely and effectively for insulin delivery and epinephrine for years. There was no time frame for the drug makers in the FDA's announcement, but you'd think, given the rising fentanyl deaths, this is going to be a top priority. In Cincinnati, I'm Christian Hauser.
Well, tracking rain across the area, especially south of I-70, we saw some heavier pockets, even some lightning make its way through parts of the area, too. In Greene County, still have some lingering precipitation. Now, this is due to a warm front and an area of low pressure just to our south. We also have a front just off to our north. So we overall just have a really cloudy forecast and still some rain in the forecast as well. So moving through time, scattered showers overnight, lingering into early into the morning, clouds and a mist, little fog to start us off for the day. But we do start to see some clearing, maybe a peak of sunshine or two by later into the day. Quiet start to our day on Thursday, but by Thursday afternoon, we start to see our next weather maker make its way in. This is going to begin to increase our rain chances by later into the day on Thursday night, early Friday morning. We will be seeing showers around the area. So coming up, I am going to be talking about those temperatures too, how long we're going to stay on the warmer side.
Natalie, thanks. Former President Donald Trump's company has been convicted of tax fraud. A New York jury found the Trump Organization guilty of all charges in a 15-year tax fraud scheme. Prosecutors say that company helped top executives cheat on their taxes by including off-the-book perks like free apartments and luxury cars. Trump and his family were not charged in this. The company now faces fines of up to $1.6 million. Trump himself calls the investigation a witch hunt. Now, New York's Attorney General Letitia James reacting to the conviction on Twitter. She tweeted today, quote, "Today's guilty verdict against the Trump Organization shows that we will hold individuals and organizations accountable when they violate our laws to line their pockets. I commend Alvin Bragg for this big victory, and I am proud of the role that my office played in securing it." And you can read more on that recent development at Dayton247now.com. You can find that story in the Nation and World section. The January 6th committee investigating the attack on the Capitol will issue criminal referrals to the Department of Justice. Chairman Benny Thompson says the panel plans to publish a final report by the end of this year. Now, he did not say who the committee is going to recommend charges against. They met today to discuss the details. Congress can send criminal referrals to the DOJ, but it's up to federal prosecutors to decide whether or not to pursue charges. Another live look from our Kettering Health Sky Cam tonight. The rain continues to fall. It looks like kind of a rainy week, really.
Yeah, showers around, clouds around, really just a kind of a gloomy week ahead. At least our temperature's not too bad. We'll be above normal over these next several days. We're hanging out in the 50s, 52 for our high temperature tomorrow. A little cooler Thursday, Friday. Still needing a jacket, as well as, of course, keeping that umbrella handy over these next couple of days. We do have upper 40s for our Saturday. Sunday, temperatures getting back into the lower 50s, but fairly comfortable as far as our temperatures go over these next several days with those above normal temperatures. And these will continue into next week even. This is Climate Prediction Center temperature outlook from the 12th to the 16th, indicating those above normal temperatures hanging around for a little bit as well, even as we head into next week. So I'm going to talk about when we could hit close to 60 degrees coming up in just a bit.
Natalie, thanks to Dayton Arcade hosting its annual Holly Days this week, which you can expect to experience at that free festive celebration. And some of us still have some holiday shopping to get done. Economists now sharing some advice on how you can save this holiday season after this. You're watching Dayton 24/7 now. A free family-friendly event is back at the Dayton Arcade. Holidays is a 3-day event with more than 45 small businesses, food trucks, live entertainment, and festive surprises. All takes place in the historic Dayton Arcade Rotunda. It's a great way to check out the local vendors and spread some holiday cheer.
It's already crowded. It's just going to get more crowded as the days go on. You can see everyone around me. They're finding their friends, and we're really excited to welcome the community to this space.
That event runs from 3 to 8 tomorrow and Thursday, so be sure to get out there and have a great time. Speaking of a great time, for love of children, bringing Christmas joy to the kids served by Montgomery County Children's Services today. Their Christmas for Kids program delivering toys from their Christmas toy cottage to 2,400 children in the Miami Valley who may not otherwise get a gift. That's a new record. Local law firm Dyer, Garofalo, Mann & Schultz has collected toys and gifts all season for 30 years.
All the money that comes in, the flock goes toward about 14 different programs, but the biggest program we have is it's Christmas for Kids. It's the biggest program we have, and this is the time of year to celebrate, to help the kids, to make them feel good.
This is Flock's biggest toy drive of the year every year. It's grown over 3 decades, from giving gifts to 35 kids to 2,400 today. And you can still make a difference and help local children right now by making a donation or volunteering your time. The organization donating more next week and is already planning for next year's toy drive. You can learn more at flockdaytonohio.org. And if you still have some holiday shopping to do, economists say it's important to budget, of course, and to stick to it. So here's some expert advice to help you keep on track. She says, while gift shopping, make a list of who you need to buy for and what you need to buy and stick to it. Make a detailed list as well as what you need to buy for holiday meals and buy non-perishables ahead of time.
For those that are a little bit older, we still like to use the newspaper ads that come every week. But there's also all the stores now, they have their sale ads every week online. So you can go and open up 3 or 4 tabs on your computer, look at the sales for 3 or 4 stores and figure out where's the best deal for the items that you're looking for. That also helps you save gas. You can try and do more of your shopping at one location to save some money on gasoline as well.
Most importantly, make sure you can pay off what you're buying so you're not starting the new year in debt. The Columbus Crew introducing their new head coach today. A look at his introduction and plans for the team after the break.
And it's now time for your TikTok of the day. Let's take a look at a cool pop-up storm right here in Dayton. Hey everyone, so this is one of my favorite time lapses of a pop-up storm. So take a look, these clouds get darker on a hot summer day. They fill up with moisture and eventually the bottom just drops out. Check out all of that rain in just a short amount of time. You see that cool air rushing outward from out of that storm. Overall, this storm dumped almost 1 inch of rain.
the Dayton 24/7 Now News app, brought to you by the Jeff Schmidt Auto Group.
The University of Dayton's women's basketball team, along with two other teams, have announced they're withdrawn from the Las Vegas Holiday Hoops Classic. Now, this comes as fallout continues from a similar event where teams experienced many problems, including not having medical personnel on site. That tournament is scheduled to start on December 19th. The Flyers will be back in action this Sunday against Florida. At almost 2 months after moving on from head coach Caleb Porter, the Crew in Columbus, they introduced their replacement coach today. Frenchman Wilfried Nancy is the choice to lead the team. Clay Hall was at his introductory news conference today.
Good evening to you, Dayton. Clay Hall here at Lower.com Field, home of the Columbus Crew, which introduced their new head coach today, a 45-year-old Frenchman, Wilfried Nancy. He absolutely is excited about this. I asked him, hey, you're an established MLS coach. He was the head coach of CF Montreal. I said, why Columbus? He said, because when I came here and stepped on this field, I had goosebumps. He is a European player, a Frenchman who has traveled the world, and he was extremely impressed with this facility. He came up with a win and a tie against the home team, the Columbus Crew, this season. Much more to come. We'll talk then. At Lower.com Field, I'm Clay Hall. Let's go back to you.
Well, tracking overall a very cloudy forecast.